प्रोग्राम शुरू करते हैं। 4:17 हो गए हैं। आप सबको पता है कि हमारे ये जो वेंसडे का प्रोग्राम है, किसी को पता है इसका नाम क्या है प्रोग्राम का?
ऑल द
जी आंटी, हुआ करता था इसका नाम ऑल इज वेल।
या
अब क्या नाम है
स्वारा का कुछ है,
जी?
SWARA स्वारा, समथिंग लाइक दैट।
अभी टेस्ट हो रहा है, सबका टेस्ट हो रहा है। सब फ्लायर्स पे लिखा होता है।
यही होता है।
वरिंदर जी अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
साउथ वुमेन एशियन।
अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
कौन? माइसेल्फ?
नहीं नहीं, वरिंदर जी, वरिंदर जी कुछ कह रही है, उन्हें पता है कौन सा है ये।
Some have.
Yes. And it stands for what?
So
That I have to look for it. Senior something.
seniors
mental health, seniors mental health awareness.
Seniors mental health awareness ambassador program.
And we have ambassadors, trained ambassadors, and Fozia is one of them. So thank you so much, Fozia. Fozia ने special time निकाला है। Wednesday इनका busy होता है, but we requested कि Fozia की बहुत ज़रूरत है। Fozia is so passionate about self-care. हमारे मुख्तलिफ programs में आती हैं, बताती हैं कि why it is so essential to taking care of yourself. And today she is going to talk about goal setting. So over to you, Fozia. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Usman. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, MWC, for the opportunity. Before we start, I just want to mention again, this session is being recorded and will be live on Facebook. It will be uploaded MWC YouTube channel. So if anyone does not want to be on the video, they can turn off their camera. Okay, awesome. So before we start, in this session, we're going to talk about a couple of things. I'm just going to ask if you can mute your lines if you're not speaking. And just want to also mention that the way that I like to have the sessions when I'm talking about something, if you feel like something has come up for you and you need to share it, or you need to express what's landing for you in that moment, you're absolutely welcome to, you can raise your hand, or because we're a small group, I don't mind if you just want to speak up and just say that you have something to share, and we can stop and we can listen to what you want to say, and then we can, address that and perhaps move on from there. I will try to have some question and answers time at the end of the session, but usually I find that if we do it this way, we kind of cover everything for everyone as we're going through it. So it is my preference to do it that way. I just want you guys to feel comfortable speaking up if you feel the need to. So today we're going to be talking about the importance of goal setting and routines for our well-being, and why maintaining daily practices and pursuing meaningful goals is key during times of uncertainty. So basically, आज जो हमारा discussion होगा वो इस पे होगा कि हम goal setting क्यों करते हैं, and what can we do to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance कि हम achieve कर सकें. And हमारी जो wellness and well-being है, उसमें ये क्या role play करती है to have routines and to set goals. And especially in uncertain times, especially जैसे आजकल सब, सोच रहे हैं कि COVID कब खत्म होगा, and, इसके बाद what will everything look like. What we're going to talk about is what we can do when things are happening outside of our control. हम किस चीज पे focus करें so that we can still have good mental health and we can still maintain our wellness. So before we start into the discussion, I want to ask everyone, just let me know, what does wellness mean to you? जब आप ये लफ्ज़ सुनते हैं wellness, इसका क्या मतलब है? What do you think it means? Anybody?
Please repeat it.
Wellness, what does that mean to you?
Healthy mind and body.
Healthy mind and body. Absolutely. Anybody else?
Mentally, physically,
Mentally,
emotionally.
Emotionally. Yeah.
Mentally positivity.
Mental positivity. Yeah.
Being
Shantaji?
in the green zone.
Being in the green zone. I love it. Okay. Absolutely. Everyone is right, because wellness has a personal meaning for each of us, and it can be defined in many ways. But it goes beyond our physical and mental health. So हमारा wellness जो है वो सिर्फ हमारा physical और mental health के बारे में हम नहीं बात कर रहे. It goes beyond that, and it's more than just the absence of stress or disease. So if we don't have stress at this time, and we don't have koi bimari nahi hai, then we think that, okay, this is wellness. No, wellness is more than that. So what is wellness? Wellness also involves having a purpose in life. Like you feel like your life has some purpose. Wellness also means participating actively in work and play. So having fun and having your responsibilities. When you're at work, you're participating actively. And when you're not at work, you enjoy that time. You're able to have, fun at play. Also having joyful relationships. So हमारे जो relationships है, they're healthy. Being happy yourself, and having a healthy living environment. So जो हमारा माहौल है, the way we surround ourselves within the home, with our community, all of these things, is this healthy? This is all part of our wellness. Because wellness is about how we live our lives and the joy and fulfillment and health that we experience. ठीक है? To achieve an improved quality of life and longevity, we have to understand that our overall well-being comes from different areas of our life, which are all interconnected. So in our life, we have our mental health, we have our physical health, but we have other areas, we can call them dimensions, and they're all connected with each other. So those different areas or dimensions are our physical health, emotional health, spiritual, social, financial, intellectual, occupational, and environmental. And I'll show you how they're all connected, how all of these areas or dimensions are connected. Let's say, for example, when we worry about money, for example, financial debt or being able to afford something, we sometimes experience anxiety. This is an effect on our emotional health. This can lead to medical problems, which impacts our physical health, and trouble at work, which is occupational. And when this happens, then we can even get to that point where we start to question our own sense of purpose and the meaning of our life, and that affects our spiritual health. Another example of how all dimensions are connected, when we're not working, so that's occupational, we may lose opportunities to interact with others, so that's social, and may not be able to afford the good food and medicine or like medical care that we need to stay well, so that's physical. And we may even need to move our home if we have, we're not working and we have financial issues. We may need to move our home to somewhere that feels less safe and less secure. So that impacts our environment. So can you see how all the areas of our life can impact one another, even when we don't realize that they're connected? The impact spills over to the other areas and the other dimensions. Any questions so far? We're okay?
I
Yes.
had one question. All these things what you said can also affect our emotional well-being, isn't it? When you're financially or physically or environmentally or not secure and happy, then your emotional well-being will affect, and that can lead to something else too, is it?
100%. आप बिल्कुल सही कह रही हैं. Yes, all of those dimensions, including the emotional health, everything is connected in our well-being. And that well-being, when we talk about it, means कि ये सारी चीजें जो है, इनमें we have to have some sort of wellness in order for us to say, okay, this is my overall well-being. Because एक जगह, like in one area, अगर किसी चीज की कमी है या कोई struggles है, we see how in these examples how it spills over into the other areas of our life, and that can start to affect our relationships and everything. So again, if our goal is to achieve an improved quality of life and longevity, then achieving our goal means maintaining wellness in all areas of life, and that requires creating balance. So any questions so far? We're still good? Okay, so when I'm talking about balance, this is an important part of wellness, and this is done through our daily routines. So हमारे जो हर रोज की routines होती है ना, उनसे हम ये balance achieve कर सकते हैं. So a balanced life can mean different things depending on our culture, our circumstances, resources that are available to us, and so many other factors. And we each have individual needs, preferences, and capabilities. And what each of us considers to be balance is also going to look different. A balanced life means making sure that we have time to do the things that make us feel happy and feel fulfilled. So a balanced life is not just jo hum sunte hain work-life balance, but it means that we have balance in everything, jisse hame khushi pahunchti hai, and that we feel like our life has a purpose and we feel fulfilled in our life. So that can be things like spending time with family, our self-care, sleeping well, our involvement in community. Maybe some people, they're not working, so they volunteer to give back within the community, or some people, they work and volunteer. And that's how they feel fulfilled, because they're giving back. Also being physically active. So, do you have an active lifestyle? But also taking time to relax, and maybe that includes meditation, maybe that includes prayer. So all of these things together are what makes up a balanced life. And balance is especially important when we're going through difficult or challenging times. Why do you think that is? Anyone? Why do you think balance is?
गीता जी कुछ कहना चाह रही थी.
Yes, go ahead, Geeta ji, sorry.
मैं लेट आई ना, इसलिए थोड़ा पकड़ने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, थोड़ी सी लेट आ गई.
That's okay. आपने कुछ कहना था?
मैं आप जो बोल रहे हो ना, उसको थोड़ा सा समराइज करके बता.
मैं समराइज करके बताऊं? ओके, तो हम कहते हैं ना कि हमारी जो वेलनेस है, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि वेलनेस क्या है, आप मुझे क्या बताएंगी?
मेंटल पीस.
mental peace. And आप सही कह रही हैं. Wellness is mental peace, but wellness is more than that, because usually जब हम सोचते हैं कि wellness का अगर हम सुने, we think it's physical health or mental health, right? But it's more than that, and it's more than just the absence of stress and disease. Because हम सोचते हैं कि I have no stress, मुझे कोई बीमारी नहीं है, I have wellness, but there's other areas that are also interconnected, and that also contributes to our wellness. So मेरा मतलब है कि एक तो mental or physical health हो गया, but wellness also means कि do you have a purpose in life? Do you feel like your life has meaning?
Living has a meaning, yeah.
Yes, right? Also, do you actively participate in your work and your play?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have joyful relationships, right? Yeah. Are you happy, right? Do you have a healthy living environment? All of these things, they come together to make up wellness, because wellness is about the joy and fulfillment and the health that we experience.
Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. All right. where was I? So balance is especially important when we're going through difficult or challenging times, right? So if we're going through something like stress or trauma, or perhaps koi bimari, or maybe some emotional challenges, or maybe like COVID, काफी लोग COVID की वजह से उनके ऊपर काफी negative effect हुआ है. So in times like these, it's even more important कि हमारे जो habits or routines हैं, हम उनको नहीं छोड़ें. So we have to maintain that we have to make sure कि हम उनको maintain करें, right? Why do you think it's important that we maintain our habits and routines, especially in times like जो मुश्किल वक्त है? Anybody?
So that we don't go into anxiety and depression.
Absolutely, it helps us because पता है होता क्या है कि when we put our focus on the things that we can control, like जो मैं control कर सकती हूँ, I can control कि मैं आज कौन सी चीजें करूँगी. I can't control COVID. I can't control, things that are going to happen, but I can control the way that I act. I can control my habits. I can control my routines. जो मैं हर रोज करती हूँ. When we put our attention to the things that we control, even if we're in the environment where things are out of control, it gives our mind a feeling of calm and a feeling of being in control. Because जो चीजें हम कर सकते हैं, हम उनके ऊपर focus कर रहे हैं, right? So it means focusing on ourselves as well as the roles that we play in the lives of others. So how do I show up for myself and how do I show up? So अगर आपके साथ कोई है जो आपके ऊपर depend करते हैं, आप focus अपने ऊपर लेकर आए, अपने self care के ऊपर, और आप focus उनके ऊपर लेकर आए. What can you do? What's in your control? So this can help to define who we are, and it gives us a sense of purpose. Because जब चीजें outside of our control, when things are chaos, it can impact us so that we feel like, what is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose? Because समझ कुछ नहीं आ रहा कि क्या हो रहा है. But when we take time to focus on ourselves and the people that we are showing up for, it helps us define who we are, and it gives us that sense of purpose. It also gives us time to relax, right? And we can provide, when we're relaxing, we provide for ourselves space कि हम सोचें situation के बारे में, और हम attention दें कि हमारी जो feelings है वो क्या है, and we take the time to process those feelings, right? It gives us a sense of still being in control. So for example, if you have a difficult situation, maybe, some illness or some trauma, but what's in your control, maybe you maintain a clean environment, it's going to help you to feel like you're organized and you're in control.
Yeah.
ठीक है? Having self-defined routines and habits can offer personal balance and satisfaction. तो इसका मतलब कि जो routines और habits हम खुद अपने लिए बनाएं और हम खुद practice करें, उनसे हम अपनी life में balance ला सकते हैं, and we can bring that sense of satisfaction, right? Our routines and habits, they affect everything. So our habits would affect कि हम किस किस्म का खाना खाते हैं, हम किस किस्म के कपड़े पहनते हैं, right? How do we relate to ourselves? Do we have negative self-talk? हम दूसरों के साथ कैसे interact करते हैं? How do we keep our environment? हम सफाई रखते हैं या चीजें बिखरी हुई होती हैं? How do we spend our money? Are we careful with our money? Everything that we do, वो हमारे habits के ऊपर depend करते हैं.
According to this environment, we should change our habits.
Sometimes we might need to, and that's what I'm getting to. So good point, Nirdanti. Yeah, our habits don't always serve us because they're ingrained in us, right? Kafi arse se, bachpan se probably, we have those same habits. So they're ingrained in us, and bad habits can be difficult to change.
Yeah.
right?
But we should try slowly and slowly to change according to environments.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the ways that we can do that is establish new and better habits is having wellness goals or having goals. And I'm just using wellness because that's the focus for today. But if we set wellness goals, हम अपने लिए wellness goals set करें, then we have to think, okay, इसको achieve करने के लिए मैंने क्या करना है, right? Because we have to take action. When we set a goal for ourselves, we have to take action. Or तो कोई नहीं करेगा ना आके हमारे लिए. So we have to take action. So then our habits, new habits, and better habits that we want to establish, they can be put in place to help support those wellness goals. And if we don't do that, it can be quite challenging to achieve our goals.
Yeah.
Because the demands of life can lead to overwhelm, right? Like life itself can give us depression हो सकता है, anxiety हो सकती है, हम गुस्से में आ सकते हैं, we can feel physically exhausted. Any of these things, if they're continued for extended time, अगर हम ज़्यादा दिन के लिए depression में रहे, anxiety में रहे, then it's going to have imbalance on our well-being. It's going to have a negative impact on our health. Okay? So it's very important that during stressful times, कि जो मुश्किल वक्त हो, it's very important कि उस वक्त हम अपनी daily routines को skip ना करें. It's important that we don't let go of our day-to-day activities, because these are the things that are going to help to maintain our wellness and our well-being. But a lack of structure and routine can actually make you feel worse. So let's say, for example, agar mushkil waqt hai and because of that I don't feel like doing anything, तो मेरी जो हर रोज की activities हैं वो भी मैं ना करूं, then what do you think the impact will be on my health and my balance?
Depression, loneliness.
Loneliness, yeah, right. And I'm gonna end up, sorry, bole?
Physically down हो जाएंगे.
Physically down, absolutely. Yes, go ahead, Shantaji.
Some people might get agitated because they cannot achieve the goal or what they had planned. They might do something which normally they may not do, but cases like that, during that period of time, you get agitated, anxiety, all kinds of negativity will be there. Not only on you, around you, people who are there, you will throw the negativity on them as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to say, because on my screen मैं सबको नहीं देख सकती, it's on 2 pages. So if you have your hand up या आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं, and I haven't. Okay, Nurlali, thank you so much.
And I have been listening and of course speaking with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So what another thing that would happen is that we end up spending more time thinking about the stressful situation, right? Because अगर हम अपनी daily activities के साथ हम करते जाएं, like whatever our routine is, then we don't have that much time कि जो situation है, जो मुश्किल वक्त है, हम उसको attention दें. But अगर हम अपनी routines को भी छोड़ दें and day-to-day activities भी छोड़ दें and बस बैठ जाएं because मुश्किल वक्त से हम गुजर रहे हैं, what that does is it makes us have more time and हम जो stressful situation है उस पे more attention देते हैं, right?
Physically भी हम disturb हो जाएंगे.
Absolutely, absolutely, सब कुछ, because it's all connected. जी गीता जी.
जैसे कि अभी टर्की में अर्थक्वेक, उसमें से रूटीन जो हमारी काम हम करते हैं, रूटीन वर्क, how does it help?
हमारी जो routine है. So again, remember, all of the dimensions are connected, and if you can take care of yourself, then you can think clearly, what can I do to support other people? But अगर हम ये बैठ के like सोच के और ये लेके हम बैठ जाएं कि हाय अब क्या होगा, उनका क्या होगा, and हम news देखते जाएंगे, we're going to also fall into that anxiety and overwhelm and depression. And it takes us the opportunity for us away, so we can actually make a difference. Maybe we can make a difference through financial support. Maybe we can make a difference by, I know this person and I know this person, in dono ko main milati hu, together maybe they can do something. Aise karke, there's all kinds of things that we can do. So we always have to make sure that we maintain a level of wellness, so that we're thinking clearly, so that we're able to focus, so that we can have clarity in regards to the events around the world and what role we can play in helping someone else.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great question, by the way. So keep in mind, but you are the expert of you, and you know what works and you know what doesn't work to support your well-being. So I'll give an example, is that Narendra Auntie is showing her plants, and she's must be fantastic at gardening. And if you notice, I have one plant behind me, and it's an artificial plant, because gardening, if I have a real plant, I will kill it. So we have to know, where gardening might give her a sense of relaxation. Gardening for me is high stress, because I'm very worried that I'm going to kill the plant. So we have to be aware of what our strengths are. We have to be aware of things that work for us, things that don't work for us, right? And we have to put those things into practice. And one way of getting out of this cycle of, just having that imbalance is maintaining our structure and maintaining our routines throughout the day. Okay, अब routines के बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं, but I know there's some people who absolutely love to have a solid daily routine. उनको पता है कि मैंने ये चीजें करनी है. They have their routine set out. I also know that there's some people, they cannot stand the idea of having a predictable schedule, right? And so when you talk about routines, they're like, no, routines and schedules, that's not for me. But I will tell you that humans are creatures of habit. Okay? And habits actually help us throughout our day and actually make up most of our day. So, agar hum soche, how many things do we get through? दिन में हम कितनी चीजें करते हैं जो हम उनके बारे में सोचते भी नहीं हैं. It's kind of just on autopilot, right? Like you wake up and you brush your teeth, but you don't think about how you're brushing your teeth. You just do it, right? फिर आप अपना कमरा ठीक करती हैं, आप नाश्ता बनाते हैं. Like these are automatic things that we do, but it's our daily activity, it's our routine, these are our habits, right? So, for those people who say, I don't like routines, I don't like to do anything by schedule, you might think that you don't have a set of routines, but if you review your daily activities, you might be surprised, right? Like even now, I'm just asking everyone, what's something that you do every day that you don't even think about it now? You just do it. Anybody? कोई बता सकता है कि ऐसी कौन सी चीज है जो आप अब उसके बारे में सोचते भी नहीं है, you just automatically do it? Shantaji, go ahead.
भूख लगते ही खाना खाते हैं.
Okay.
As soon as I'm hungry, I'll eat it without knowing that I have to eat, and I eat it.
Okay. Narendra Auntie, brushing your teeth. Brenda,
Early in
Yeah.
the morning, we don't forget to brush our teeth.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Baths and making our beds.
Making
That's-
ourselves refresh or fresh.
yeah. Even something as simple as, sone se pehle, if you floss your teeth, that's a routine.
Yeah.
That's a routine. And maybe it's even part of your health goal, right? Because you know that if you maintain healthy teeth and dentures, that your overall health will be better. Or maybe
medicines.
it's medicines, yeah. Or maybe flossing your teeth might be an underlying goal of having to see the dentist less, because who wants to go to the dentist, right? So we all have these in place, hum sab karte hain, but we don't realize and we don't pay attention. So now that we know that we do that, how does setting a goal fit into this? Like, why is it important for us to set goals? Anybody want to tell me? Why do you think it's important for us to set goals?
To make our life happy.
To make our life
And,
happy, absolutely. Anyone
happy
else?
and nice, fit, I
Fit.
can say, to
Fit.
make our life happy
Bilkul.
and fit.
Yes, Bilkul say. Anyone else?
Disciplined life.
Disciplined. Yeah.
Goal setting is helpful if you plan to do something. If you don't have a goal, where are you going? You will go all over. So that's why
Right.
goal is important in life, for
Abs-
anything for that matter. Even a simple cooking, you have to have a goal what you are cooking. Otherwise, you'll be throwing things here and there, and nothing will be. The product will be nothing. You won't be able to produce anything with your
बिल्कुल शांता जी, खाना
ideas.
बनाने के लिए हम पहले सारा पूरा उसका सामान तैयार करते हैं, तभी वो उसको गोल होता है हमारा कि आज ये करी बनेगी.
सामान तैयार करने के पहले सोचना पड़ता है क्या बनाना है. Then you make that. So that's also a goal, part of the goal what you are going to. End result should be the right thing. That's what.
Yep, absolutely. All of you are right. आप सब सही कह रहे हैं. Let's look at what a goal is. A goal is an aim or objective that a person wishes to achieve in his or her life, making a change in their life. That's what a goal is. ठीक है? So goal setting can help guide our focus and show us where we may need to establish new behaviors. Right? Setting goals helps us to measure and manage our progress. Because, and this is important, so setting goals helps us to measure and manage our progress because we can't manage what we don't measure, and we can't improve on something that we don't properly manage. ठीक है? Setting goals helps us to prioritize. So, जैसे if you know कि सारी चीजें करनी है, आप सुबह जब उठेंगी तो ब्रश करने से पहले आप खाना बनाएंगी? No, because we prioritize our day. We know what has to come first, and we know like what's next, and we work our way throughout the day. So, when we prioritize, it helps us live the life we truly want to live, right? We could choose, like Shantaji was saying, we could choose to simply wander through life without any goals or plans. But what would prove to be like, what would happen from that we would have a life full of chaos and uncertainty, right? अगर हम यही सोचेंगे, okay, सुबह उठेंगे तो देखा जाएगा दिन कैसे जाएगा, we're going to be wandering here and there. कभी खाना ठीक से खाया, कभी नहीं खाया, पता नहीं बाल ब्रश किए या ठीक किए, all of these things. So what's the impact अगर हमारे दिन हर रोज ऐसे गुजरे, हमारे well-being के ऊपर क्या impact होगा? Not good, right?
Yes. मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगी.
Of course.
हाँ जी, मैं यही गोल की बात हो रही है ना, तो मैं रात को कल मैं बैंक नहीं जा सकी थी क्योंकि मैं काफी एग्जॉस्ट हुई हुई थी. रात को मैंने प्लान किया कि मैंने सुबह बैंक जाना, फिर वहां से सामने से ग्रोसरी स्टोर पे जाना, वहां से कुछ चिकन विकन खरीदना है, वहां से फिर मैं वापस घर आऊंगी. तो मैं सारा प्लान करके तो सुबह मैं 9:30 बजे उबर पे चली गई. अपना सारा प्लान के मुताबिक सारा काम किया, चने भिगो के चली गई थी. तो फिर मैंने कि मैं आके इसे बॉईल करूंगी. मैं अपने माइंड में सबसे पहले अपना सारा प्लान जो है ना वो करती हूँ, क्योंकि बचपन से हमारी अम्मी ने वो टाइम टेबल हमेशा शुरू से बनवाया, इतने बजे से इतने बजे ये करना है, इतने बजे से इतने बजे ये करना है. तो वो गोल जो है ना, वो प्लान जो है ना, वो मैं पहले से ही करके ना अपने आप को बनाती हूँ कि मैंने ये करना है. तो ये ज्यादा अच्छा रहता है मेरे ख्याल में.
Yeah, absolutely. And जो एग्जाम्पल आपने दिया, it's perfect. रात को आपने कल का पहले सोच के सारा प्लान बना दिया, and then you knew, okay, मैंने ये करना है. But that doesn't mean that we have to live every single moment planned out. है ना?
Yes.
It's good that we have these things to keep us on track throughout the day, but it doesn't mean कि हमारा जो हर moment है, it has to be on a schedule, or it has to be in in a plan or a routine for some goal. It doesn't mean that. Because all of us, we need to have those down days. Down days का मतलब कि those days जो हमने उस दिन कुछ भी नहीं plan किया हुआ. We're just going to relax that day. We're just going to see how the day goes, see what comes up, right? Those days are actually helpful to us because when we have days that we don't plan anything, it helps us to gain clarity and focus and be more creative. And मैं पूछती हूँ सबसे, have you ever had an idea that was like you wouldn't have thought of it, but then you're doing something random and you're not even thinking, all of a sudden you get your best ideas? I know मेरे साथ ऐसे होता है. I can't be alone. They're in the auntie. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
And they're in the G.
Sometimes this happens. Then we are searching what to do. After we find something, we can repair our clothes or whatever. There is something or children, we can clean some cupboard. What is done, that is never regular. We can do that thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cleaning of things.
Yes, because हमारे पास कितने काम हैं, right? करने वाले
बहुत निकल आते हैं.
निकल आते हैं.
अपने कपबोर्ड साफ कर लो वो पड़ता.
Yeah.
I call it me time.
Me time. But don't get me time mixed up with self-care time. A lot of people do that.
No, me time in the sense I do what I like totally without any goals or anything, total relaxation, and think about other things which generally I won't do it. And
Yes.
like you said, that time your creative mind comes around and you come up with ideas without knowing, and you jot down them and then relax.
Yes.
I at least once a week I do total relaxation. Not to do anything. In the sense, afternoons usually I'm busy doing something. I try to do that.
I love it.
That helps to clear your mind also. Otherwise, your mind is so many things you have to do, and you have to do ye karna hai, wo karna hai. So this way it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. आप बिल्कुल सही कह रही हैं. So having clear and specific goals helps to keep us motivated, right? It helps us to use our time efficiently, and we're more likely to make positive changes in our routine. So we have a better chance of achieving our goals. So when we have our goals set out, make sure कि आप down days be scheduled करें, or give yourself some time to plan nothing ताकि आपकी जो creative juices हैं, they start to flow. ठीक है? The goals that we set for ourselves will depend on what we want to achieve in our life. ठीक है? So जो मेरे goals हैं, they'll be different from Shanta ji, they'll be different from Zubda, they'll be different from Narendranti, right? But we have to know what it is that we want to achieve in our life before we can set some goals for ourselves, before we know what direction we want to go in. So how do we do that? To do this, we have to create a vision for ourselves and write it down. And to do that, I want you to think about if you were to sit in your favorite chair and just, apne mind ko bilkul blank karo and just think ke future mein, what does your ideal life look like? Where do you want to be? What do you want for yourself? This is the vision that you create for yourself. I want you to write it down. Okay? Goal setting is about thinking about your ideal future and what you need to do to turn your vision into this, to turn your vision of this future into a reality. So agar aap baith ke apna vision likhein, then goal setting means what are the steps that you have to take, the actions jo aapne karne hai, to take that vision and turn it into a reality for your life. That's what goal setting can help you do. Knowing what you want to achieve will help you to know where to put your focus and your effort. Okay? So you'll be able to spot the distractions that lead you off track. That's the other thing. When we set goals, or routines के through वो actions establish करते हैं कि हमने क्या करना है इस goal को achieve करने के लिए हमें ये भी मालूम हो जाएगा कि कौन सी चीजें हैं जिससे मैं distract होती हूँ. So you're going to become very self-aware. And again, if we're not aware of ourselves, then we can't fully express and we can't fully create what we want अगर हम अपने आप को पूरा जानेंगे नहीं. So this is another cool thing about goal setting is that we're going to be able to spot the distractions that lead us off track. And we're going to be able to become aware also of the habits that serve us and the habits that move us further away from our goal. So until you actually set a goal and have a direction, आपको ये भी नहीं पता होगा कि शायद आपकी जो ऐसे कुछ habits है जो आप बिल्कुल opposite direction में जा रहे हैं from what you want in your life. So when we sit down and we're very clear and we understand where we want to go, what the reality is we want to create for ourselves, what that vision looks like, फिर हम वो actions को लिखें, then we can see कि ये जो मेरी habit है, this is not in alignment with this vision, with this goal. So I need to make a change here, right? Getting into the habit of doing something is easier said than done. We all know that. How many people have tried to make a new habit or change a habit? And it's easier to say it than to do it, yeah?
New Year's resolution. Everybody makes it. And
Can I? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Can I tell you something with a little side note here? New Year's resolutions के बारे में आपने बात की है तो for some years now, what I do is, so I don't do New Year's resolutions. I set goals for myself. I have 10 categories and I have one main goal in each category. And then I have supporting goals that will move me closer to achieving that one goal. Okay? So when you say New Year's resolutions, Shantaji, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but हर साल शुरू होने से पहले मैं बैठ के मैं ये goals लिखती हूँ and there's 100. So there's 100 goals that I write at the beginning for every year. And maybe I don't get all of them, but they're not all big goals. There's one big goal and then there's supporting goals. So just say if somebody says, I want to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, and that's difficult for you, what can you do? You can set small goals for yourself. अपनी routine or habits जो हैं उनके through you can achieve this goal. So आप क्या कर सकते हैं कि you start a nighttime routine. With your nighttime routine, maybe you start to go to bed a little bit earlier. Maybe आप अपनी devices वगैरह बंद कर दें before, an hour before. Like, what is it do you have to do कि आप अपने आप को support करें कि सुबह 5 बजे मैं उठ जाऊं, right?
One question.
Yes.
If you are making goals, are you able to do all those or complete or go according to those goals?
वो जो 100 goals में लिखती हूँ उसके बारे में या आप किसी और के बारे में? Are you asking me like
whatever
personally?
goal you say that in the beginning of the year I make
Yes.
so many goals.
I don't do all 100. I don't achieve like all my 10 goals in each category, but उनके जो छोटे हैं ना, like the supporting goals, let's just say, वो जो मेरी routines मैंने बनानी होती हैं, उनमें काफी मेरी routines बन जाती हैं कि I get closer to achieving that goal.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like I said, it's easier said than done, and it takes some effort, right? But we can do it.
Sometimes you have made the goal, but you throughout the year you are never able to go near to that goal.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
happened so many times.
This is such a great thing that you said, Nuranati, because actually, and this is the other thing I don't like about New Year's resolutions, because New Year's resolutions के लिए हम एक साल का कहते हैं कि okay, by the end of this year, this is what I want to accomplish. तो मैं जो goals लिखती हूँ ना, I write them at the beginning of the year, but they're spaced out And मैं कहती हूँ कि okay, by the end of next month, this will be my new habit. By the end of 3 months from now, ये मेरी habit होगी. So I work that way in smaller pieces of the year. Like I do like 90 days at a time. तो वो होता क्या है कि it's easier to do take something for 90 days, फिर उसको 60 days में करो, फिर उसको 30 days में करो, and यहाँ से 30 days तक मैं कोई चीज कर सकती हूँ. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. पर अगर मैं सोचूंगी कि यहाँ अब आज से लेके end of the year तक मैं करूँ, फिर मैं देखूंगी इसकी जो accomplishment है, a year seems so far away. So
Yeah.
chances are that I'm not going to stick with it.
I never make any resolution, never.
Yeah, because who wants to do that? And then for a whole
Let
year,
the time come.
yeah. Go ahead, Shantaji.
Yeah.
No, New Year's resolution, people who do it, I have never done it, but I always hear people doing it. What happens? They keep postponing. Arey, साल, there is still time. अभी तो देर है. Not diet, but particularly people who do try to diet. I'll diet and अरे अगले महीने से शुरू करेंगे, next week से शुरू करेंगे. Then the purpose of having a goal totally dismisses the whole purpose of having a goal. That's what I feel.
Yes, बिल्कुल सही है. And statistics show कि जो लोग New Year's resolutions like set करते हैं at the beginning of the year for the whole year, around February they drop off. This is statistics. That's not me saying it. So, you know, let's look at habits. So some of our habits are good and some are not so good, right? But we have to be aware, and we're writing down our goals, and we want to write down the things that we want to work towards. Getting into the habit of doing something is easier, right? So we seem to acquire bad habits without any effort. But why is it that getting into a good habit can be more challenging? Anybody thought of that? Like सब ये कहते हैं कि it's, you know, changing your habit is so difficult. But अगर bad habit कोई pick करना है, वो तो बड़ी आसानी से हम pick up कर सकते हैं. And बड़ी जल्दी से हो जाती है. But जो good habits हैं, उनमें ज़्यादा time लगता है, वो ज़्यादा challenging होती है. So why is that? Right? कि हमारी जो habits हैं, and we say, oh, this is not a good habit, मैं इसको change करूँ, but वो मुश्किल है change करना. So let's talk about forming new habits and routines, right? What we think, do, and pay attention to repeatedly over time, it starts to create pathways in the brain, and we start thinking that way all the time. We start behaving that way all the time. It becomes automatic. And these are our habits that form our routines. So हमारे जो habits और routines है ना, वो हमने अभी नहीं develop की, वो हमारी बचपन से हैं, जो हम करते आ रहे हैं, right? And we have created that pathway in our brain, and that's why when we want to try to change it, it takes a little bit more effort, because we have to create new pathways of this new way of being, right? And, you know, like, I'm sure that we've all had time where we intentionally wanted to change our behavior for the better or create new habits for ourselves. And this could be getting in the habit of maybe eating healthier or drinking more water or having an active lifestyle, maybe like taking the dog out for a walk, or maybe it's work related or spiritual related, or really anything, because jo bhi hum karte hain, it comes from that, right? It's, again, humans are creatures of habit. Okay? So we could all think of areas in our lives that we could improve, and we want to make it easier if we created, it would be easier if we created new habits, right? Now, how many people have heard it takes 21 days to create a new habit? Yes, that's a saying. I didn't say it, but yes, Brinder, yes, said it, Brinder G. So there is a saying that it takes 21 days to create a new habit. And I laugh a little bit because it's kind of a weird thought, because it doesn't take that long to create a bad habit, like I was saying, right? So when we talk about creating a new habit, then the question is like, how do we it and how long does it take? Because sometimes when you're trying to create a new habit that's going to be good for you, it takes way longer than 21 days. So how long does it really take to create a new habit? Anybody? What do you think? Geetaji, you're muted. You're still muted, Geetaji.
I think habit also depends upon the person. If a person with a strong mind, then they can change it even on one day. In one
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, I agree with you, because that's what it depends on, right? It depends on your mindset. It depends on how long and like sorry, how big of a change also it is that you want to make in your habit. So I'll give you an example. अगर आपकी routine, आपकी habit है कि हर रोज dinner के बाद आप बैठ के ice cream खाती हैं, right? You have a bowl of ice cream and every night after dinner, sorry, and you want to change that habit to a little bit healthier habit. So instead of the ice cream, you say, I'm going to go to low sugar frozen yogurt instead, right? It's probably going to be really easy for you to make that change. It's not going to take very long to create a new habit. But what if you say, okay, I have ice cream every day after dinner, and starting tonight, I'm cutting out ice cream, I'm cutting out sugar, I'm not going to have any of it any longer. So how long do you think that's going to last? Like, you're going to be able to continue with that? It's much harder.
It depends. It's harder, but people do change.
Yes, absolutely. आप सही कह रही हैं गीता जी, people do change. But my point is that when you are replacing a habit with something else, it's easier, right? But when you want to completely cut out something, then it's going to be harder, because we need to fill that space with something. ठीक है ना? अगर habit है आपके पास, like I know people that smoke, तो वो कहते हैं कि बस smoking बंद करनी है, and they just quit, and that's it. But now what do they do with their time? Because वो जो वक्त था जो वो that they spent in that habit, they have to fill something else. If they don't do something else in that time, they're going to go back to smoking, because you have to fill the time with something, right? So, you know, we really have to look at what it is that we're doing and how we go about it, and also again changing a habit or completely cutting out or replacing a habit. So again, it's going to be different from one person to the next. Even for the same person, from one habit, it's going to be different, right? I see you nodding, Shantaji. Yes, absolutely. There are things that we have to keep in mind when we're trying to change. One, it's easier to make a new habit than to get rid of an old one. Okay? And routines will form faster if you stick to the same time and environment each day. So what does that mean? That means that if you want to work out, right, then you have to set the time, and every day at आप workout करेंगी, फिर आपकी routine बन सकती है. But if you just say, I'm going to work out whenever I get a chance, then it's difficult, because now your challenge is trying to fit it in to your routine, trying to fit it into the day. ठीक है? A constant reminder of why you're trying to change your behavior is also helpful. So remind yourself every day that you're exercising so your body stays strong and you can go play with your kids or grandkids, right? Or put a picture to remind you. So if you're saving to buy maybe your dream car, put a picture up where you'll see it and it'll remind you. This is why I'm not gonna, spend money going to the movies, because I want to focus on saving for this. Another thing you can do is keep a picture of it right in front of you. So maybe a vision board. You can put it on your vision board, and when you see it all the time, it's going to create that excitement and that internal motivation for you, because you know this is something that you're working towards. We have to remind ourselves, right? We can't just say, I'm going to do this from now on, and then there's nothing to support. We have to do whatever we can to support, because remember, हमारे जो existing habits हैं वो बचपन से हम ले आए हैं साथ. So उनको change करना कभी मुश्किल हो जाता है. It will take some time to make new habits and routines, but in the end, it will be worth it, right? We have to structure our day for our natural flow of energy levels. So this is another important thing है, जब हम अपना सोचते हैं कि जो हम routines अपनी बना रहे होते हैं, look at your own energy level, and जो आपको natural लगता है ना, go with that. So if you naturally have more energy in the morning, then schedule yourself to get more things done in the morning, and evening जो है वो आप light रखें ताकि आपके लिए overwhelm ना हो and you don't feel anxiety that सारा दिन मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया and अब जाके I have all this stuff to do. But if you're, a little bit more slow in the morning and you like to, take your time getting started with the day, then you look at when you have more energy and शायद आपको दोपहर का वक्त या evening का वक्त आप ज़्यादा plan कर सकते हैं. So go with your natural flow. This is also going to allow you to get more done. And this is also going to make sure that you get the rest and the relaxation that you need. ठीक है? Remember to be kind to yourself. I say this all the time. We're so harsh with ourselves. We're so critical with ourselves. हम जिस तरीके से हम अपने आप अपने साथ बात never talk to someone else like that, right? But we have to be kind to ourselves. Understand that when we plan something, plans don't go always as planned. So don't put extra pressure on yourself. It's okay. You have to be a little bit flexible. जो plan किया था अगर वो नहीं हो सका, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it, right? Research has consistently shown that routines play an important role in our mental health. So having a regular routine can help you to lower stress levels and better manage stress and anxiety. Having routines can help take better care of your overall health and all of the other relationships that you have. It helps to better maintain your wellness in all of those areas and dimensions that we mentioned. It helps for us, it helps because we feel more productive and we're more focused and have more clarity. We can list so many more things. This is just an example that having routines, how it can benefit us, right? During times of uncertainty, managing our own behaviors can help you feel more in control of the situation. ये मैंने पहले कहा था कि जब, if there's something going on that's outside of our control, bring your focus back to the things that are in your control, because फिर आपको ऐसे लगेगा कि I still have some sense of control, and आपका जो overwhelm है and anxiety है वो reduce हो सकता है. ठीक है? But we have to bring the focus back to the things that are within our power. Don't focus on things that are outside of your power. During times of great stress, maintaining structure and routine can help you feel more organized. It's important for us to feel organized. It's important for us to feel like, okay, I don't have control over that, but iske upar I have control. So you maintain your space. You keep your space clean. You keep your space organized, right? Having a routine can be helpful at any time, but especially if you're trying to establish healthy habits, right? Routines can be particularly important during stressful times and when aspects of your life feel uncertain. So इसका मतलब है कि, at any time, routines जो हैं हमें पता है कि वो हमें सही रास्ते पे रखेंगे. Like we're gonna feel like our day we're accomplishing things, we're getting things done. But it's even more important when we are going through something that's stressful or we're going through something that's a little bit uncertain. Then we have to make sure that we can keep focus on our routines, because again, it gives our mind a sense of calmness. It gives our mind that sense of being in control, and that helps us to manage our anxiety and overwhelm. How are we doing so far? Any questions at all? Anybody have any questions? I can't see everyone, so let me know. We're good? Okay.
मैं क्वेश्चन तो नहीं, अभी मैं हैबिट के बारे में बात बताना चाह रही हूँ.
Of course.
हाँ जी, तो ये है कि मेरी एक हैबिट थी, मैं गाने बड़े शौक से सुनती थी और बड़ा जुनून की हद तक मुझे गाने सुनने का भी शौक था. और कैसेट, उस वक्त कैसेट्स होती थी, तो मैं अपनी सिलेक्शन खुद लिख के तो अपने वहाँ पे खुद रिकॉर्ड करवाया करती थी. एक बड़ा जुनून था. 2000 तक वो मुझे जुनून रहा कि मेरे पास इतनी कैसेट्स थी और इतनी बुक्स थी. मेरे पास पोइट्री की बुक्स थी, वो मुझे लाइब्रेरी का शौक था, मैं वो भी इकट्ठी की हुई थी. तो लेकिन जब 2001 में मैं सऊदीया गई हूँ, उम्रा किया है पहला, तो मेरी लाइफ बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट हो गई. मैंने हर चीज छोड़ दी. इवन कि मुझे पोइट्री भी जो थी ना, वो मैंने सब कुछ छोड़ दिया. सब कुछ छोड़ दिया कि मुझे एक जमाना गुजर गया उसी आदत में कि मैंने सब कुछ छोड़ दिया. लेकिन फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता थोड़ा बहुत मैं आ गई थोड़ा सा. तो ये है कि हैबिट जो है ना, इंसान बदल भी लेता है. अगर मेरी आदत है, मेरी अम्मी कहा करती थी कि बचपन से ही कि बेटा इंसान सारी उम्र सीखता है. और मेरी कोशिश होती है मैं हर उस इंसान की अच्छी आदत पिक करूं कि जो मेरे सामने है, जिसको मैं देख रही हूँ, जिसको मैं मिल रही हूँ, उसकी कोई अच्छी आदत है तो उसे मैं पिक करूं. तो ये मेरी पुरानी आदत है कि मैं सबकी अच्छी अच्छी बातें जो है ना नोट करती हूँ. और मैं कहती हूँ मैं खुद को पॉजिटिव बनाना है, इसलिए सबकी अच्छी अच्छी आदतें जो है ना इकट्ठी करती रहती हूँ. तो यही है मेरी जिंदगी. और दो चीजें हैं कि ये दो हैबिट्स ऐसी हैं जो मेरी बचपन से लेकर अब तक कायम है. एक ये कि मैं कभी किसी से नफरत नहीं की, और ये है कि मैं सबसे मोहब्बत करती हूँ. बस ये दो हैबिट्स हैं जो मैंने नहीं छोड़ी.
That's amazing, Subha. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so the question is, did anyone else have anything that they wanted to share, or should we go on? Go on? Okay. Do you ever notice that it gets harder making decisions towards the end of the day? So maybe like just a, सोने का वक्त नजदीक होता है, हमारे लिए decision करना हम जरा थक जाते हैं, and we think, I don't want to make any more decisions. Like sometimes it even just gets you too tired to figure out what you want to have for dinner or what you want to watch on TV. Anybody experience that? Just me? होता है, right? ऐसे होता है कि हम थक जाते हैं कि sometimes you just by the end of the day you think, okay, बस मैंने और कुछ सोचना ही नहीं है, right? And we just don't want to have any more decision making on anything. And do you know why that is? ऐसे होता है. And it happens because each of us has a limit to the amount of decisions that we can make in a day. तो अगर हम अपने खोरे पे पहुंच जाते हैं, हमसे कोई पूछे तो we don't want to answer anything because हमारा खोरा पूरा हो गया है. So the thing is that, we have to understand that if we leave everything to making decisions and we don't understand that how routines and habits play a role in benefiting us throughout our day, we can get overwhelmed by the amount of decisions we're required to make on a daily basis. Whereas if we can address things and prioritize things through our routines, then by the end of the day, we're not feeling exhausted and we don't feel like we've reached our capacity. Shantaji, did you want to say something? Aapne haath upar kiya?
No, I just wanted to say, particularly for me, when I'm physically exhausted, I've been running to and I don't want to think about any decision to be made because I know I'm so tired. My mind won't be on the right direction. That's
Exactly.
same thing what you said. Yeah.
Yes, because ऐसे होता है कि mentally हम हद तक पहुंच जाते हैं, right? We have a limit. Our capacity, right? We have to be aware of our capacity. And हम जब पहुंच जाते हैं, like we're full capacity, there's not room for anymore. And to do anymore is taking away from our well-being and our wellness, right? So knowing that helps us to prioritize, right? We can cut out a lot of the decision making by implementing routines, right? That way we save, our decision making for the important stuff, right? It helps to free the brain space for more creative and productive thinking, right? Routines are a great tool that simplify our lives and cut out a lot of our daily stress. So I'll give you an example. Chances are you already have a morning routine, right? हम सबकी morning routine है. You get up, you make your bed, maybe you take a shower, you get your coffee, you read the news, or check your email, you make some breakfast, whatever. We have a morning routine जो हर रोज हम वही करते हैं, right? Let's expand on that. अगर वो हम करते हैं, then what if we say, all right, हमने जो कपड़े पहनने हैं वो भी हम सेट कर ले, वो भी हम रख दें. So in the morning, I don't have to think about मैंने क्या पहनना है because it's already there, right? You just grab your thing, whatever you put out for you, you put it on and you're off, ready to go, right? Implementing some routines into your workday wherever possible can make it easier. So for example, meal planning, हम बात कर रहे थे शांता जी, were saying कि सोचना पड़ता है कि क्या बनाना है, फिर बनाना है, right? तो ये जो बनाना है और सोचना है कि क्या बनाना है, we can maybe हफ्ते का पूरा मेन्यू हम लिख ले. We could do that. Maybe on a Sunday, हम सोचें, okay, or at least maybe पूरे हफ्ते का नहीं, maybe for the first few days of the week, हम सोच लें, okay, these are the things I have to make. फिर जब हम groceries के लिए जाएंगे, हम वो चीजें लेकर आएंगे जो हमारे मेन्यू में इस्तेमाल होंगी. And then maybe on that same day, आपने मेन्यू लिखा है, maybe कुछ चीजें हैं आपके पास, maybe आप prep करके फ्रिज में या फ्रीजर में रख दें ताकि जो दिन आएगा जिस दिन आपने ये चीज बनानी है, it's already washed and cut. The meal prep is already done, right? Yeah, I know a lot of people that do that with meal prepping. Sunday का दिन वो पूरे हफ्ते के लिए prep कर देते हैं. Maybe they don't know कि for every meal what it's going to be, but dinner का जो है वो पूरे हफ्ते का decide करते हैं. And चीजें जो इस्तेमाल होंगी वो wash करके, they make sure they have it on hand, काट के, sometimes freeze भी कर देते हैं. And then they just, the day they have to make it, निकाल के oven में डालो, या निकाल के everything is washed, सालन अपना बना लो, right? There's things that we can think of, we can be creative, कि हम कैसे अपने लिए routines बनाएं, जिससे हमारे जो daily activities हैं वो आसानी से गुजरे, and हमारे पास वक्त हो that we can pay attention to our self-care. We can pay attention to giving time for free thought, just to do things that help us to feel better and to feel fulfilled, right? And it takes away stress and the overwhelm that I have to think of every single day, right? I think the worst question sometimes is like, what do you want for dinner? Because you're hungry by that time, or family se bhi pucho, so then you're getting different answers. Per kuch samajh mein nahi aata ki do you have what's being requested? Do you have those ingredients? But if you have it already planned out, it's going to make your life much easier, right? That's like our maybe morning routine we can do, like we said. Sometimes I know I used to do this when my bache chote the, is subah ke waqt, I would decide kya banana hai dinner ke liye, ke main rakh deti thi. We can reheat it when it comes to dinner time, but dinner time, jab aata hai, kids are coming home from school. It's a very overwhelming time. They're telling me what's going on. Homework ho raha hai, ye ho raha hai. I didn't want to be in the kitchen. कि मैं खाना बना रही हूँ, खाना पहले से बना के रख देती थी. And that was, it was easy. It was a simple, but it made my life easy. Same way, yes, go ahead, Shantaji.
I agree with you 100%. When I was working full time, I used to plan like what you did. Ahead of time, you plan. But now that we are retired, we cook what we feel like eating. If I plan, I may not want to eat the same thing. Like my husband will eat. He'll say, whatever I cook, he'll eat. And say, oh, I don't feel like eating that. Then he says, whatever you like, you make it. Then I make for myself and eat it because I can take that liberty because I have more time. That's all I wanted to add to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, remember, मैं कह रही थी कि we're just discussing. तो जो आपके लिए काम करता है, what works for you, आप वो करें. And what doesn't work for you, don't do it. And if you plan the whole meal, the whole week, and every day, if you went by that, and every day खाना खुद बना के, you were like, I don't feel like eating this, that would be a disaster. Right? That would be a disaster. So आप खुद सोचें कि okay, this doesn't work for me, but how can I implement routines to make it easier for me? Because remember, the end goal is we want to create that life where we feel fulfilled, where we feel like we have a purpose, but we have what we want in our life, right? We're happy, we're joyful. And so through routine, we can create space in the day कि हम जो अपनी पसंद की चीजें हैं उन पे हम focus कर सकते हैं, right? So same thing we can do in thing. We can wrap up our day with a bedtime routine, right? And that not only helps you when you're too tired to make smart choices, but it also helps you to fall asleep more easily. आपको पता है कि ये मेरी routine है. This is how I'm gonna, put everything in place. And now I'm starting my evening routine. इसका मतलब कि सोने का वक्त हो गया. It's like हम जैसे बच्चों के साथ करते हैं. छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, maybe हम उनको bedtime story सुनाते हैं, फिर हम उनके साथ लेटते हैं, फिर उनको पता है कि okay, अब मैंने सोना है. So we're preparing them. It's a nighttime routine. We can do it for ourselves. The cool thing is, because we're doing it for ourselves, we can do anything we want that's going to help us, right? Maybe we come up with a few calming ideas, things that, help you slow down. It slows down your mind. It gets you ready for sleep. Maybe reading a book, maybe listening to some music, or, maybe having some herbal tea. I don't know, like it can be anything, but routines are there to help us to maintain balance, right? Not just overall balance and well-being, but also to maintain balance. कि हमारी जो responsibilities है, घर भी साफ करना होता है, खाना भी बनाना होता है, बाहर का काम भी करना, अंदर का काम, all of that stuff. Then we have responsibility to our, the relationships we have. We want to nurture those relationships. So routines help us to prioritize and put focus where it's needed. It helps us to maintain balance between our priorities, and it can help to create space or a sense of peace in our environment. Any questions so far? We're still good? Okay. So repetitive tasks, such as daily hygiene activities, can reduce stress as you don't have to put much thought to them, right? We were talking about this. And we also talked about things like, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, or doing a skincare routine. It's during those times, my mind starts to get these really interesting ideas of like, oh, what if I did this? Or someone will come to your mind that, you thought, I haven't talked to this person in some time. Like, let's reconnect with that person, right? So, you find yourself with these random thoughts, and it's only going to happen if we allow ourselves that space. And the way to allow that space, you're not going to sit down and say, okay, ab main baith ke kuch nahi sochti, now let me see what comes to my mind. It doesn't work that way. We have to be on autopilot somewhere doing something and some kind of a repetitive task. And then what happens is our subconscious mind starts to relax and it starts to explore this area of free thought. So if you find that you're unable to maintain your daily routine, and sometimes that happens, chances are that your new responsibilities are getting in the way of you fulfilling your regular routine. And so sometimes that happens कि हम कुछ change करना चाहते हैं, and so we have our routines, but because we're doing something new हम सोचते हैं okay आज उसको जाने दो, like I'll just leave it and I'll focus on this new routine or new habit I'm trying to make. And people think that just skipping it, sometimes it's okay just to skip your usual daily task, but actually it creates more work for you and it takes more time to go back and do those tasks. And now your whole routine is off, right? So when you're your usual responsibilities, you can actually end up creating more work for yourself. And those tasks that you skipped, they're still going to be there, right? And they might end up being more because now it's piled up, right? So to completely neglect apnea routines is not a good idea. What do you think you can do? Anybody can answer. What do you think that you can do if you find that you don't have time, but you want to start a new routine or new habits? So how can you manage कि जो existing है वो भी करें and जो new है वो भी implement करें? Anyone?
You organize your whatever your goals are, prioritize and put it what पुराने जो goals है या पुराने routine है उसमें if they are mundane and that doesn't help you, then take them out. Don't have them in your routine and focus on the new goal and new routine.
Absolutely.
That might help. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing we can do is we can try shortening the time that we spend on our current responsibilities so we can create more time for the new ones, because all of us only have 24 hours in a day, right? Hum time ko extend nahi kar sakte, but we just have to learn how to navigate through the day and in a more efficient way, right? So once we form a routine and you're following your specific activities throughout the day from morning to evening, this allows you to properly allocate time for each responsibility. And it can also offer you flexibility as a result if something unexpected comes up. So for example, like I have everything spaced out, and because I have a time allotted for something, if something unexpected comes up, then you can look and say, all right, you know what? I can fit it into here and it doesn't get neglected. It doesn't get dropped. Because, that's what life does, right? It throws unexpected curveballs at us and we have to try to navigate through them. So when you find yourself planning for and around your routine, you might find that you can more easily accomplish your goals because your focus is different, right? When we have routines laid out and we have a allotted time for everything, hota kya hai कि हम time ke saath, we can't extend the time, but we can become more efficient. So if I know like, okay, I have 3 things that I have to do, and each of those things is at allotted time. So when I'm focusing on this one thing, I don't have to worry about those other things on my mind because मुझे पता है कि उनका वक्त आएगा तो फिर मैं वो address करूंगी. अभी इस चीज का वक्त है, so I can put all my attention on this, right? And so that helps so that we can figure out what's important, what's not important, like Shantaji was saying, to prioritize. And we can also figure out what works and what doesn't work for us. And so if we, we're trying a new routine and we say, okay, it's not working, maybe it's harder than we thought. And we say, you know what, okay, this doesn't work for me. It's easy to get frustrated Anybody get frustrated when they're trying to form a new routine? I know me. Yes, yes, I see some hands and nods. Yeah. So don't get frustrated, because you know what? It's actually a good thing. That if something doesn't work for you, it's actually a good thing. Why is it a good thing? Why do you think it's a good thing? I'm going to let someone answer that question really quick. I got to plug my laptop before it dies. What do you think? Why is it a
Then you learn to go by, like you think differently. If you are, if it doesn't work, then you think about how it can work, or how is it work, or you cry for help. Somebody else can help you. Then they can show you how it can work. May not be working for you, but it might be working for somebody else. They can help you. You can ask for help at least. That way you can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing that we can definitely do, is lean on our supports. So we can reach out, we can ask someone for help. Maybe we can delegate. So maybe we can realize that, you know what, I need some help. And instead of me learning how to do it, maybe I can delegate to someone else. The thing that I really want to focus on is when we're doing something and it doesn't work for us, and I say that's a good thing, we're learning more about ourselves. Remember in the beginning, I said, jab tak hum apne aap ko janenge nahi, pehchanenge nahi, we're not going to know our strengths. We're not going to know our weaknesses. We have to be aware of all of these things. Jab tak aise nahi hoga, we're going to find things that we struggle with, right? If I know my strengths and my weaknesses, मुझे पता है जिस चीज पे मैं efficient हूँ, मुझे ये भी पता है जिस चीज से I need help, or I need to delegate, or I need to avoid completely because it's going to be a waste of time, right? So we have to use everything that we get, all of this feedback in that, you know, makes us angry or frustrated, or use it as data telling us that, okay, this is where where a weakness is. You need to put attention, and we have to factor that in when we're doing things for ourselves. So it's a good thing to get frustrated when something doesn't work. So we can expect a new routine to work. We can't expect new routines to work perfect at the first time, because it's a work in progress, just like us, right? We're a work in progress. And life is constantly changing. And when you figure out what works best for you, adapting to those changes may be less stressful than it was before, right? We have to understand ourselves first. So think about your current routine. Everyone, अपनी जो आपकी current routines हैं, उनके बारे में आप सोचो. There's probably some things that you'd like to do more of, and there's probably some habits maybe आप छोड़ना चाहते हैं. Yes? Anybody? Anybody want to share? Go ahead, Geeta ji.
I get up early in the morning. Now here in Canada, I find my daughter is getting up very late because she is working at night.
Okay.
So she gets up late. So I get up early in the morning. Then I do my go and brush my teeth and whatever it is, and then I make a cup of tea and sit with it. And I also do prayers. Early in the morning, I do prayer.
Okay.
I start the day with the prayers, and then I start everything. So this is happening. I have not changed my routine, and I do more work because I am awake more, and I am very energetic in the morning time. So I do most of the difficult things in the morning. Suppose writing for Toastmasters some speech, I will concentrate on it and I will write then. Suppose I am writing some poem, I will do it in the morning only, not in other time. I can't do it. So that is the thing. So my routine is like this. And now I want to paint also. So for that, paintings are there, knitting is there. I do a little bit of knitting also in between, so that everything gets some touch, I touch all the fields which I am interested in, and I get very happy. I'm happy. I also read in between. So sometimes I do cooking. My daughter is cooking or I am cooking. At this stage also I can cook. No problem. I can cook for 10 people at a time. No problem. But I do it. I do it when I'm absolutely fit. If I'm not fit, I say, no, today I'm not. I'm not okay.
And that's your down day. Absolutely. Yes.
So that's it.
Okay. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
And sometimes I'm late for this.
You're muted, Zubdaji. You're muted.
Oh God.
No, Geeta ji, you're fine.
I'm fine.
Okay.
So I sometimes forget that it is 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So I get, I was just now I was doing press of my clothes. So I do it. I try to look smart. I try myself to do little bit of things so that I'm not inactive. I should be active physically and mentally both.
Absolutely.
That is the main thing of, otherwise Alzheimer's will catch me. Dementia can happen. So even my feet may not work. I had some problem with my neck.
Oh.
I had terrible pain. What I did, I opened the window and sat before it. It was a sunny day. I thought like India, and I got cold. I got neck,
Oh,
neck.
no.
Then it was for 15 days, it really troubled me. After that, I had some heat itching because I put so many heat pads and I was wearing sweaters and everything. Now I can't wear. I've got heat rashes.
Oh, no.
Because this is my first winter in Canada. So I should be easy.
Okay. And it's been a rough one too, especially this past weekend. We had a polar vortex. So it's been really, really cold.
Those days, 2 days it was open, the window.
Oh, no.
Suddenly I saw that some wind is coming through where the window is open. I said, what a fool I am. I just tried to close it, but still it was open. My daughter came and said, what is this? You couldn't even close the window. She closed. Now I don't even open it because I'm afraid. If I can't close, then I have to call her and say, please.
Yeah.
You cannot catch cold because pneumonia is another thing.
Yes.
Old people are getting.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. This is the thing.
Even the winter diarrhea, if you go out, winter diarrhea. I don't like snow boots at all. So I don't even want to go out.
I know. I can relate to that. I tell my husband every year when we get into the fall, and I tell him, that was my last winter. I don't want to be here for this winter. I've grown up here my whole life. But the thing is that, we have to see the things that make us feel good, right? So for me, I used to enjoy winter when I was younger. Now I feel like the cold just gets down into my bones and I prefer to just hibernate. So I like to stay indoors and not go anywhere if I don't have to.
If you get used to it, used to the weather, then you will enjoy. Now for me, it is
Geeta ji, I've grown up here my whole life, and ab jaake I can say I don't like the winter, and I don't think I'm ever going to get used to it.
I was searching sunshine. So I opened the window and got cold.
Oh, sorry to hear that. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? I hope you guys found this session helpful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
मैं एक बात कर रही थी कि हैबिट्स की वजह अपनी हैबिट बच्ची की चेंज करना चाह रही थी। यहाँ पे मैं कह रही थी कि अपनी हैबिट चेंज करे, ये रातों को देर तक जागना मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता। तो जब मैं बैक होम पे गई तो वहां तो कह लो कि कहते हैं पंजाबी में कहते हैं आवे का आवा ही होता हुआ है। वो सारे रातों को जागना, मैं तो परेशान हो गई वहां पे। यार तुम लोग इतनी रातों को जागते हो, 2-2 बजे तक जागते हो, फिर सुबह 12-12, 1-1 बजे तक तुम लोग सोए रहते हो। मेरा दिल घबराने लग गया था। मैंने कहा मेरी रूटीन का सही वहां पे सत्यानाश हुआ कि मुझे खुद समझ में नहीं आ रही कि यार मैं जाऊं कहाँ, ये मैं कहाँ फंस गई हूँ आके। कोई भी अपनी रूटीन को चेंज नहीं कर रहा, रातों को देर से सोना, देर से उठना, कोई असूल नहीं, कोई प्रिंसिपल नहीं। मैं तो फिर अपने ही बच्चों को चीखी, मैंने कहा मैंने तुम्हारी तरबियत ऐसी नहीं की थी, ये तुम लोग कैसे हो गए हो? कहते मामा बस ऐसे ही हो गए हैं। तो ये तो MWC का बहुत मैं शुक्रिया अदा करना चाह रही हूँ खास तौर पर, और उस्मा का। और क्योंकि मैं जो जहाँ से सीख के गई थी, मेंटल हेल्थ की सारी अवेयरनेस लेके जो गई थी, ये मैंने ना ली होती तो वहां पता नहीं मेरा क्या हाल होता। ये मैंने, यकीन करे कि मेरे इतने काम आई है ना ये सारी, जितने भी सेशन लिए, ये डॉक्टर खालिद सुहेल के ये ग्रीन जोन, येलो जोन, वहां पे मैं यही नसीहतें करती रही, खुद फॉर गॉड सेक अपने आप को ग्रीन जोन में रखो, प्लीज फॉर गॉड सेक। वो जो कोई सुनता ही, कोई सारे अजीबो गरीब, मैं कहती थैंक गॉड कि मैं ये सेशन ले रही हूँ और ये सारा कुछ समझ रही हूँ। वहां पे 2-3 क्राइसिस भी इतने शदीद आए थे, लेकिन थैंक गॉड कि मैंने अपने आप को येलो जोन तक लाते लाते खुद को ग्रीन जोन में रखा। मैंने कहा मैं अपने आप का सत्यानाश क्यों करूं। और मैं थैंक यू वेरी मच बोलना चाहती हूँ कि इस MWC ने मुझे इतनी अवेयरनेस दी है कि मैं वो पूरा 1 महीना बड़ा अच्छा से गुजार लिया। तो सिर्फ एक बात कहूंगी, वो एक शेर याद आता है कि एक और दरिया का सामना था मुनीर मुझको, मैं एक दरिया के पार उतरा तो मैंने देखा। मैंने बड़ी मुश्किल से वो 1 महीना गुजारा, और जब मैं एयरपोर्ट वापस आई, जहाज में बैठी हूँ, थैंक गॉड या अल्लाह मैं अपने घर जा रही हूँ। बच्चों से मिल लिया, बहुत खुश हुई हूँ, लेकिन ये है कि वहां की हैबिट्स ऐसी अजीबोगरीब हैं। मैं सोचती हूँ, क्या कहती थी कि यार लोग कहते हैं बे से बेहतरीन की तरफ लोग जाते हैं, लेकिन वहां पे हैबिट्स कुछ लोगों की मैंने ऐसी देखी, वो बद से बदतरीन की तरफ जा रहे। मैंने कहा मेरा तो सांस रुकने लग गया। अभी मेरे बच्चे कह रहे थे मामा टिकट आगे करा ले, मैं कहा नहीं भाई मुझे घर जाने दो। बहुत है मेरे लिए। मैंने कहा मैं आबादी नहीं रही इन चीजों की। मैंने कहा मैं, अल्लाह का शुक्र है कि मैं बहुत मेंटल हेल्थ की जो मैंने यहाँ से लिए हैं क्लासेस, थैंक गॉड कि मुझे बहुत ही हेल्पफुल रहा है मुझे वहां पे। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच MWC, उस्मा एंड एवरीथिंग।
Hats off to
Thank
Uzma.
you for
Hats
sharing
off
that.
to Uzma.
Hats off to Uzma.
Goes to Uzma.
Zubda, thank you so much. जो आप लोगों की कमिटमेंट है मॉल्टन विमेन काउंसिल के साथ, जिस तरह आप सुनते हैं उसको अप्लाई करते हैं, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। हमारी तो पूरी कोशिश है कि हम जितने जेम हमें नजर आ रहे हैं, ठीक है, हम वो एक्सपर्ट्स लेके आते हैं। जो आज का सब्जेक्ट था वो सिर्फ फौजिया ही कर सकती हैं, क्योंकि शी इज सो पैशनेट अबाउट सेल्फ केयर। मैंने आप लोगों को बताया था कि 1 जनवरी को मैं काफी डाउन हो गई थी, और उस वक्त मैंने ये सोचा बैठ के खुद, यार मैं तो अपनी दोस्त ही नहीं हूँ, मैं हर एक को मशवरे देती हूँ, अपनी बारी आई तो मैं अच्छा ये भी कर लो, ये भी कर लो, ये भी कर लो, और बिल्कुल मैं एग्जॉस्ट हो गई थी। तो वहां मैंने अपने आप को समझाया, वही फौजिया वाला मंत्रा जो है, सेल्फ केयर, हाँ मुझे ना करनी है कि नहीं, बस मेरी बहुत हो गई। अब बीच में वो बाज नहीं आती, वो उस वक्त फौजिया कह रही थी ना कौन सी ऐसी रूटीन है क्या, बाज फिर भी नहीं आते सोने से पहले ना, वो एक दफा व्हाट्सएप जरूर देखना है, एक दफा फेसबुक जरूर देखना है। भाई छोड़ दो उसको, सुबह देख लेना, क्या फर्क पड़ जाएगा। लेकिन नहीं, वो रूटीन में आ चुका है जिसको आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कम कर रहे हैं। तो कुछ दिन मैंने अपना फोन दूर रखा, नींद नहीं आती थी कि यार ये तो फोन दूर हो गया मेरे से, फिर उसको करीब रखना शुरू किया, अच्छा मैं इसको ऑफ कर देती हूँ, फिर बार बार खोल के देखती, अच्छा मैं चेक कर रही हूँ, टाइम चेक कर रही हूँ, सामने घड़ी लगी भी, उसको घड़ी को देखो। तो हमें अपने आप को समझाना पड़ता है बहुत सी चीजों पे। फौजिया ने कहा कि 21 डेज, कई जगहों पे कहते हैं कि आपको 6 हफ्ते लगते हैं बुरी आदत छोड़ने में और नई आदत अपनाने में। मैं वो जो 3 हफ्ते के बाद भाग जाती हूँ थोड़ा सा, कि यार बस अब नहीं हो रही, फॉलो नहीं हो रही रूटीन, फिर जीरो पे आना पड़ता है, फिर शुरू करना पड़ता है। लेकिन आहिस्ता आहिस्ता बहुत सी हैबिट्स में, जिस तरह अब ये फाइनल हुआ है हमारे घर में, फ्राइडे बिरयानी डे है,
अच्छा।
हाँ, अब जाके इतने सालों के बाद अब पता चला कि फ्राइडे जो है वो बिरयानी डे। और बाकी जो है अब मैं बच्चों से कहती हूँ मुझे आप मेन्यू बताओ, तो वो कहते हैं ये नहीं हम कर सकते, ये आपका काम है। मैंने कहा तुम लोग जाते हो बाहर खाने के लिए तो वो लिखा होता है संडे स्पेशल, मंडे स्पेशल, तो घर में भी हम शुरू कर लेते हैं। लेकिन मैंने मेंटली वो रखा हुआ है कि क्या क्या कुछ करना है। और मैं उस एक हफ्ते जो मील प्रेप की बात है, मेरा बेटा कहता है कि मुझे दे, मुझे मैं अभी तक ना मुझे लगता है कि यार ये 6 दिन पुराना खाना लेके जाएगा। तो मेरी फिर भी कोशिश होती है, स्पेशली राइस मैं नहीं चाहती। वो तो कहता है कि आप बना के तो 6 मेरे बॉक्सेस बना दिया करें, तो मैं सुबह उठ के उसके राइस बना देती हूँ। ये कुछ चीजें जो हैं वो मेरे ख्याल में हम सब अपने घरों में यही करते हैं। हम लोग कुछ इस तरह से ट्रेन हुए होते हैं कि हमारे अंदर वो ऑटोमेटिकली बहुत सी चीजें जो हैं जो हमें जो फौजिया ने कहा कि हमारी रूटीन का हिस्सा है और हमें पता नहीं होता, हम वो कर रहे होते हैं। ग्रॉसरी करते हुए पता है कि अच्छा कौन सी मंथली ग्रॉसरी है, कौन सी वीकली ग्रॉसरी है, क्या खत्म हो गया, उसको किस तरह प्लान करना है। ग्रॉसरी करके जो संभालना है वो रूटीन में हमें पता है ये इधर इधर जा रही हैं चीजें, उसको समेट लेते हैं, कर लेते हैं। तो थैंक यू सो मच फौजिया, एक दफा फिर से ये वाला प्रोग्राम लाने का, ये रीइंफोर्समेंट है हम लोगों के लिए अपनी बुरी हैबिट को थोड़ा पीछे करके। तो ये फौजिया का एक्चुअली दिस वाज प्लान्ड फॉर December 28 व्हेन आई टॉक टू फौजिया। तो फौजिया ने कहा कि आई डोंट बिलीव इन न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशन एंड आई टोटली एग्री विद। जब आप स्टार्ट करते हैं ना, आप देखें मेंबरशिप जो है जिम की वो जनवरी में कहीं से कहीं चली जाती है, इसीलिए वो 1 साल की मेंबरशिप लेते हैं। उन्हें पता है कि ये वैलेंटाइन डे के बाद सब 6 हफ्ते बस सबको ठंड पड़
It's
जाती है,
true.
बहुत
सही
कम
है.
लोग वहां जाते हैं। तो आई एम सो ग्लैड कि फौजिया वाज एबल टू डू इट टुडे। 1 मिनट, बैटरी खत्म हो रही है इसकी।
फौजी जी बहुत, that is a today great session. We are thankful to you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
कमला जी आप कोशिश कर रही हैं अनम्यूट करने की?
मैं कर ही रही हूँ।
कर लिया आपने,
आप
कर
भी
लिया।
आए तभी मैं आई। मैंने सुनती रही, काफी देर सुना, बहुत अच्छा सेशन है ये। इसमें इन्होंने है तो चाहे
Thank
बाकी
you.
चीजें कर रहे होते हैं हम, लेकिन उनमें थोड़ी चेंजेस लाने के लिए एक्टिवेट करना जो है ना, कोई चीज जो इनएक्टिव हो जाती है एक्टिवेट करने के लिए थोड़ा ये डिस्कशन जो है ना बहुत काम देते हैं। और सो मच थैंक्स, बहुत अच्छा सेशन रहा और आप सबको भी मिलके।
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Faiza. It was really, really good. And I'm glad my microphone, my speaker is working so that I could bring up few things. And it was everyday thing, routine thing what we do. But it's kind of reinforcing. I have been to sessions like this, but it's kind of reinforcing for me to remind me what I should be doing and not doing, kind of thing. Thank you.
शांता जी की आवाज इको होके आती है।
हाँ जी,
होता है
आवाज गूंज रही है।
पहले तो आवाज आ ही नहीं रही थी,
हाँ जी।
and अब echo भी
Echo
आपको
Okay, I'll have
follow
to
कर
check
रहा
it
है।
out. I have to check it out and see why.
एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ, हैबिट देखिए, H काटी तो A बिट रहता है, A काटी तो बिट रहता है, B काटी तो इट रहता है, I काटी तो फिर T तो रहता ही रहता है। इसलिए हैबिट कभी जाता नहीं है, वो रहता है, उसके साथ कुछ और हैबिट जुड़ जाते हैं।
हाँ, वो एंड में टी रहता है, एंड में टी रहता है तो टी टाइम हो जाता है।
अगर हमने आती छोड़ दी तो बारिश झूठा हो जाएगा।
Geeta, sorry, go ahead, Isma.
Yeah, go ahead first.
No, I was gonna say, Geeta जी, आपने habit को जिस तरीके से अभी कहा है ना, उसको add कर सकते हैं. And I don't think I talked about this. I forgot now what I said. Sometimes when you hear my sessions, when I say something and I'm in the moment, उसके बाद मैं भूल जाती हूँ कि मैंने क्या बात की है. So many times I have people that say, "Can you repeat that?" And I say, "Tell me what I said first."
No, I really take note.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Today I couldn't because I was late. So if I move from here, then I can't listen and I can't request you again and again, please repeat, please.
Oh, that's no, I get it. But good thing is that it's going to be on the MWC website, तो आप देख लेना. But वो habit stacking भी एक चीज है, and I didn't talk about that. Habit stacking जो है ना, if you have an established habit already, जो आपके लिए it's working, and you want to add a new habit, fit it into that habit. Then it's easier कि आप नए habit को implement कर सकें on a regular basis and make it part of that routine, right? It just becomes easier.
And I think कि 2020 ने हमें ये सिखा दिया कि कैसे अपनी पुरानी हैबिट्स को अनलर्न करना है. पेंडेमिक ने बता दिया कि नहीं, अब जफ्फियां नहीं डालनी, जफ्फियां पप्पियों वाले जमाने गए, जरा दूर
पप्पियां गई.
अब वो वर्चुअल हब्स आ गए, ये सारा वर्चुअल हब बन गया इधर, इसीलिए जी हाँ.
Now it's virtual hearts. There you go.
दूर से बात करना.
No, I always say that 2020 pandemic, I made a lot more friends. I wouldn't have known you guys if the pandemic didn't happen and I didn't join you. So I made lots of new friends, good friends, new programs. You know, always look on the positive side. Like Dr. Sohail said that you be in the green zone. There are things happen, but that we shouldn't sit with that. Oh, it didn't happen. It was not under our control, like Fozia, you said. So make the best out of it and enjoy.
Yeah.
ऐसा है, जफ्फियां पप्पियां करनी है तो अपने अपने गॉड से, अल्लाह से, वाहिगुरु से, ईश्वर से करना.
Yes. आप सही कह रही हैं शांता जी, and to add to that also, if it wasn't for COVID happening, I don't think that I would have met Multi-Women Council, because the day that I was supposed to come in person was a severe snowstorm, and Raste say I had to turn and come back home. And then everything went in lockdown, and Multi-Women Council started online workshops, and that's how I was able to join a session. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even known this beautiful group. So, and you know, things, when we have a tendency to look at things and label them good, bad, right, or wrong. But if we just look at the situation and accept it for what it is, remove the emotion, remove the labeling, just accept it. It's just data for us to process. What can we do with the data? So even when something happens and it seems it's unfortunate, it happened for a reason. It happened because, you know, God wanted us to go a certain direction. And if this didn't happen, it wouldn't have turned us in this direction. He has a plan for us. And sometimes I honestly believe this. I'm not speaking for everyone, but for myself, I believe he has a plan for each and every one of us. We're all here to serve a purpose. He has a purpose for us. And when we are just going about our life and we are not in alignment with what he wants for us, he puts situations that we encounter that are there to push us or nudge us in the direction that he wants us to go into. And if we don't learn it, that lesson keeps showing up for us until we get the point and we say enough is enough and we make the choice or make the change. That's what I honestly believe. And so, you know, there's a toxic positivity where people always want everything to be positive. And I'm not talking about that, but I do believe that in all situations, if we look, we can find something that we can take from it that would help us move forward.
So, Shanta ji, आपने जो इतने सारे दोस्त बनाए, ठीक है? प्लीज उनको इनवाइट कीजिए. फ्राइडे को हमारा बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट एक सेशन हो रहा है जिसमें हमारी एक एक्सटर्नल प्रेजेंटर फर्स्ट टाइम आ रही है, डॉक्टर वनीता पूरी. मैं वो स्टोरी देख रही थी तो मैं मिक्स कर गई. So she is coming and she is going to talk about harassment, workplace harassment की बात होगी. तो प्लीज आप लोग जितना से शेयर कर सकते हैं आप लोग शेयर कीजिएगा, खुद भी आइएगा, लोगों को भी. ये फ्राइडे 6 to 8 है. और अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, हमारा सेशन हो रहा है जूम पे मंडे को. आमतौर पे हमारा मंडे को नहीं होता, बट दिस इज अ वेरी स्पेशल सेशन 6 to 8. हमने इन पर्सन करना था लेकिन लोगों ने रिक्वेस्ट की है कि इसको आप जूम पे लाओ. It's going to be a focus group discussion about cyber hate crimes. वो जो मुझे भी आते हैं ना, वो मेरे बेटे का मैसेज आया कि जी मेरा फोन जो है वो गिर गया है तो मुझे हेल्प चाहिए. सब फ्रॉड वाले जो आते हैं मैसेजेस. So we are going to talk about फोकस ग्रुप डिस्कशन होगी, क्वेश्चंस होंगे, आप लोगों की हमें इनपुट चाहिए होगी. तो जितनों को आप बुला सकें प्लीज.
I will share it with my group. Yeah.
I'm going to share the flyer with you, with everyone. तो उसको जितना आप कर सकें.
Yeah, sure.
Again, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
यहाँ आने का.
Thank you very much, everybody. Nice seeing you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fozia. It was a lovely session.
Lovely, excellent session. I missed other sessions what you had and an interview. Sorry, I'll be missing it for some other reason. I don't remember now. Senior moment for me. Senior moment. Anyway. Okay. Bye.
YouTube को सब्सक्राइब कराइए, उसमें सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.